our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired, you're 50-0, you walked away from the game, you made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you. It's not that you just deserve the money, because it's hard to do.
Right. I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much.
The man who once called himself the best ever is now facing serious challenges. Floyd Mayweather is now embroiled in a major controversy. He is facing allegations of scams and being on the verge of a complete financial collapse, raising questions about the true state of his fortune and public persona.
I did it the hard way. You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7, I was living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. I just worked hard to get to where I got to in life. It's been hard.
When Floyd transitioned from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, his image shifted. No longer just a skilled boxer with an unmatched defense, he became a self-proclaimed symbol of wealth and success. His focus turned from boxing greatness to flaunting his riches, making money his ultimate goal and redefining what it meant to be a champion in the public eye.
If you want to look at guys that never got hit, Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times, ever.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like, there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather.
Pretty Boy
that
Floyd.
was before he became money.
He reinvented himself as a brand, flaunting wealth and luxury. The focus shifted from his unmatched defensive skills in the ring to living a lavish lifestyle, earning millions per fight, and becoming one of the richest athletes in the world, a transformation that forever changed the narrative around him.
It's just complete genius.
Yes.
First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
And then he changes his name to Money. And when he changes his name to Money, he turns heel.
Yeah.
He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yeah.
And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting, and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance. Hey, why?
Floyd Mayweather began his journey earning $3 million per fight. But it wasn't until he made the bold decision to go independent that his financial status skyrocketed. This move set him on a path to earning billions, transforming him into the highest-paid athlete in the world. His independence from promoters and his calculated approach to managing his career outside traditional boxing norms allowed him to create a legacy that was financially unparalleled and unmatched in the sport's history.
Floyd Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete in the world.
However, with the arrival of his fortune came personal strains. Mayweather's father revealed that before Floyd had achieved his massive wealth, they never had a major disagreement. Yet after Floyd made millions, their relationship began to suffer. As Floyd started spending recklessly, cars, buildings, and other lavish expenses became his obsession, and this shift in priorities led to tension between him and his father. According to his father, people change when money comes into the equation, and Floyd was no exception.
We have never had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. It was on HBO, Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about, man? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is or it ain't. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People get money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
As Floyd's wealth grew, so did his arrogance. This change in his personality caused him to lose several close relationships, including those with lifelong friends. Mike Tyson openly criticized Mayweather's arrogance, suggesting that there is nothing admirable about it. Tyson pointed out that Floyd needed to come back to reality and keep his ego in check, especially considering his immense fortune and growing isolation from those who once supported him.
How do you feel about Floyd, though?
Huh?
How do you feel about
Awesome
Floyd?
fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like, you was a movie star. You was a hero.
Floyd's close friendship with rapper 50 Cent was one of the most talked about bonds in the entertainment industry. But just as Floyd's fortune increased, so did the cracks in their friendship. According to 50 Cent, Floyd's obsession with money became unbearable. Floyd reportedly told 50 Cent that he never asked for his help, despite the fact that they had shared a strong bond over the years. This rift was largely attributed to Floyd's fixation on wealth, disregarding his legacy and the people who had been with him from the beginning, an act that many saw as betrayal.
Going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you're already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like, let him cool his heels before he...
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when... But see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he going to say he wants, you know, to give me the other half of it? Why I got to ask you for it?
Right.
And then when he...
Are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, you know, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Floyd also lost one of his most promising protégés, boxer Tank Davis, who felt exploited by Mayweather. Tank revealed that Floyd always put him in a position where he would constantly rely on Mayweather. Despite the earnings Davis had made from his fights, Floyd failed to pay him adequately, which led to Tank severing ties with him. The betrayal cut deep, especially considering Tank once viewed Floyd as a mentor and guide.
Back asking you for money. Oh, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever. Whenever you need some money, you feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get her out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up there, like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But like, to somebody to understand, you understand like what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, cause if I gotta put you in position that always need me, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm like, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot. And I know you're gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that, $48 of plot power. I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really just put me in position to be able to, you know, make my own thing. I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. People that's over top of me. I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person, he said, okay, cool. I see what's going on. That's when you start taking over.
Tank also mentioned Floyd's inability to handle anyone surpassing him, as he became jealous of fighters who earned more or who were seen as greater than him, even claiming that Muhammad Ali was not better than him. These statements only served to fuel the perception of Floyd as deeply insecure and obsessed with preserving his image at any cost.
Out of all these guys in the history of boxing,
yes,
I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yes.
And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali, of course.
Mayweather's arrogance didn't stop at his relationships. He began to flaunt his wealth to the world, and this only fueled the public's disdain for him. His habit of showing off his luxurious lifestyle, paired with his controversial comments, made him one of the most hated boxers in history. His remarks, including his belief that he was the greatest regardless of others' achievements, only served to intensify the negative perception the public had of him, overshadowing his boxing accomplishments.
In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number 1, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number 2, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't, okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Bert Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back up and won the fight.
Due to his brash attitude and extravagant display of wealth, Floyd became the most disliked boxer in boxing history. His refusal to engage in drama, despite his behavior, only added to the animosity. He often spoke about how he didn't care about public opinion and that he would continue to fight whether in exhibitions or traditional bouts. This indifference to the criticism he faced made him more divisive than ever, with many fans and commentators questioning his motivations and intentions in the later stages of his career.
Like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And
my most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million.
One watch. And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah, he creates envy, and you want him to lose, but he's not gonna.
After retiring from professional boxing, Floyd turned to exhibition fights. But these events received a great deal of criticism. Many believe that Floyd was tarnishing his legacy by taking on these lesser-known opponents just for the payday, reducing the prestige of his name in the process.
You to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what? This is it. I don't care what all you guys say. I'm out of here. I'm done.
I mean, I think I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. Speak my mind. Speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. But I wanted to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside that's going to help me take things to the next level, and that's what.
His exhibition fights became infamous for being money grabs, and critics suggested that his fights were more about securing the largest percentage of the earnings rather than providing fans with competitive or meaningful bouts. This perception further damaged the public's view of Mayweather as an athlete.
But you know what it is? I think obviously with Floyd, he gets the biggest percentage of the purse, isn't it?
Yeah, but he can still get the biggest percentage of the purse.
Yeah, Ricky Hatton's gonna want more. He'll want more.
He'll want more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they fought in their heyday, Floyd got more.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know what I'm saying?
No, but Floyd wants like 95% more. 90% more. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
He's like 95.5. Yeah, that's how he likes to do it, isn't it? But I'm not gonna lie, if Floyd fought Ricky, both of them now, catch weight, 154, O2 Arena,
it will sell out. Sell out. It will sell out.
Floyd's reputation for exploiting exhibition matches was further damaged by allegations that he failed to pay his opponents their promised amounts. Boxers like Deji and Logan Paul claimed that they never received the full pay they were promised for their exhibition bouts with Floyd, accusations that painted a troubling picture of his business ethics.
A lot of people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy
right
going,
now,
I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters. They don't have to wait for. That was the big problem in the past, is that these boxing promoters would come in and they wouldn't make as much money as they thought they were going to do, so they would stiff the fighters and not pay the guys. And that's why these regulations are in place in these different states.
As time passed, Floyd's career and the hype surrounding him slowly began to fade. Once a dominant figure in the boxing world, his actions off the ring began to overshadow his accomplishments inside the ring. His involvement in a $42 million scam and the mounting evidence that his financial dealings weren't as clean as they appeared further tarnished his image. Reports emerged that Floyd Mayweather was trapped in Dubai due to unpaid debts, highlighting the seriousness of his financial troubles and raising alarms within the boxing and business communities alike.
Drama going on about Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai. However, that man was at Game 5 of the Clippers game. He's claiming that he is stuck in Dubai because there's debts that he has to pay off and they're not letting him leave. And we're sitting at Game 5 and I look over and I'm like, dude, that's Floyd Mayweather. Royce takes a video of Floyd Mayweather at the Clippers game, posts it on his TikTok. It goes viral. He posts 2 videos, both go viral. And the comments, nobody is believing him. They're like, that's not really Floyd. That's a clone. Floyd stuck in Dubai. And the crazy thing was, usually when you're at these games, they'll have like, oh, special guest, celebrity of the night. They didn't show Floyd on the thing. So we have it on camera. But go check out Royce's videos if you guys want.
Mayweather worked hard to cultivate an image as the highest paid athlete in the world. He boasted about his earnings, claiming that no one else in the history of sports could match his financial success, a claim that became increasingly questioned as his legal and financial issues came to light.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous out of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon? Was it too soon?
Chael Sonnen, a prominent fighter, made it clear that Floyd's decision to continue fighting exhibition bouts was a move driven solely by money. Sonnen suggested that with billions of dollars in earnings, Floyd had no need to fight nobodies just for the sake of money. This was seen as a betrayal of his legacy, as Sonnen believed Floyd was sacrificing his honor and reputation for personal gain, a sentiment echoed by many in the sports world.
I know that Floyd is still getting in there as recently as this weekend because he needed the money.
You think Floyd's fighting because he needs the money?
Yeah.
Really? Why? You think he blew through all of his money?
Get the fuck.
Yo.
Well, he blew through a lot of it, but I'm sharing for you, it wasn't what you thought it was.
He
to
blew
start
through
with.
it and wasn't making as much as he
they're
says.
claiming he was doing $100 million a fight, and I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about $100 million. There's a very
wow.
You know, Floyd had this long career. I could imagine him making more than $100 million.
I understand that. Floyd was not Muhammad Ali, and Floyd wasn't Mike Tyson. I got it. I know people think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you, he didn't, and no boxer has. No boxer's ever made 130 million in one night. This is silly.
Floyd Mayweather has closed down a mall. He has rented out the entire mall and he spent $15 million. The proof that this happened is Floyd in a mall and Floyd with a bag of cash that probably had about 100 grand in it. He says, man, I'm a VIP, I'm a VP, I'm a VIP. Do you want to know why he was whispering, guys? He was whispering so that he didn't disrupt the employees and fellow shoppers at the mall. It's okay, this is a gimmick. Floyd did everything that Floyd is supposed to do. It's strange that a 50-year-old man would continue to do what he did when he was 28 years old.
Eddie Hearn, a well-known boxing promoter, criticized Floyd's approach to boxing, calling his fights NAF and suggesting that Floyd was more focused on pay-per-view earnings than the interests of the fans. Hearn believed that Floyd's shift from being a competitive boxer to a money-driven entertainer had compromised the integrity of his career and reduced the respect he once commanded.
Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000. Something like that, if that. I believe so. We've had some bad ones. But this is, I've seen a map, someone posted a map yesterday. I mean, I don't know anyone that even knows Floyd Mayweather is fighting on Saturday. Who is putting the money up for these events? Like, I think that the Mayweather fights are so f***ing naff, to be honest with you. But I don't actually mind, like, at least Aaron Chalmers will go out and he can box and he'll have a go and like whatever. But literally no one knows that is even happening. Someone has hired out the O2 Arena thinking they're going to sell out the O2 Arena with Floyd Mayweather and they are going to do a couple of 100,000 buys on pay-per-view. It's either going to get cancelled before Saturday, or someone is going to do their absolute conkers, or people are not going to get paid.
After years of extravagant spending and accumulating luxurious assets, Floyd Mayweather's wealth has finally dwindled, leaving him broke. His career, long over, has faded into the past, and his attempt to stay relevant through exhibition fights has faced severe criticism. Things worsened when he was linked to a $42 million scam. With widespread backlash, Business Insider exposed his claims about owning 62 buildings as lies, revealing he only had a part of them. This has sparked further anger, as Floyd's constant bragging about his wealth has ultimately led to accusations of dishonesty and deceit, casting a long shadow over everything he built.
There is a little bit of embellishing that you kind of have to do in order to get your foot in the door with some of these folks, because they otherwise ain't gonna deal with you. So it does require a little bit of fake it till you make it. I'm not saying that that report is true. I'm just simply saying that if there were some validity to that, that's not really the end of the world. He ain't lying about having ownership. He just may have embellished the truth about having no partners. Also, you got people calling him broke, which is crazy to me, man.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time for more shocking revelations and untold stories.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.